Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite makes the process of becoming a published best-selling author as simple as sipping your morning cup of coffee. You can learn more about Authors Unite at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have another Tyler with us. It's Tyler Bayley. He is an international youth leadership developer. He is currently in South Korea working with YBM Education, developing and facilitating new leadership workshops for students. So welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Grateful to have you here. We'll jump into the first one, Tyler. The first one I have for you is, what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
All right. Well, imagine this. Time's ticking and you're panicking. All right. Well, what's your best survival tool?
Best survival tool. Time's ticking and I'm panicking?
Yeah.
You know what's funny, dude? This answer is going to really maybe throw you off.
Hey, I've had answers that people say guns, people say water. Yeah.
No, well, I'm going to say actually CBD oil. And that, well, you probably haven't gotten that one. I actually just started taking it recently, and it definitely relaxes me. So I think maybe I would take that to lower the heart rate and then figure out a plan from there.
I like that. It's your best survival tool. All right. Pick myself up some of that. My story. All right. I definitely haven't heard that. Imagine this. I'm on a 3-seater jet ski with two of my friends, Mike and Carrie, and we drove out a couple miles into the middle of the Great Lake Erie. And we drove out there where there was no boat traffic. So we could all take turns, I hop on and Mike hops on. And then Carrie takes her turn and, well, she leaves us. And she doesn't come back. And Mike and I are just left stranded miles out in open water. And you see, she left us there because the waves got a little bit too high and she couldn't really see where we were. So she ended up just driving in and getting more help. And so after 10 minutes of sitting in our life jackets, we said, well, I guess we're swimming. Yeah. Yeah. And after about an hour of swimming, we still couldn't see the beach. And my arms felt like jello. But Mike and I, we kept pushing each other on to keep going. And then a boat appeared and picked us up. Now, to me, the greatest survival tool has got to be people. I mean, oil is pretty good. It's pretty good, but still make me laugh. But people have got to be it. They've got to be it, because the thing is, being on that water, I realized that I had Mike, and Mike had me there to keep us pushing. And so the message really is, like, surround yourself with people that bring the best out of you, and then in turn, you'll discover some of the best opportunities.
Yeah, man, I agree, and I want you to know, with more context, I definitely would not have chosen the oil there, but yeah. I wasn't sure of the situation, so my first thought was like, well, let me get this panicky state out of me first, and I know that CBD really helps with that. Then I'll be able to think clearly and create a plan, but when you're in the ocean, I'm not sure the oil would have much help, so I like
my friends are like that, so you hear so many different answers. It's fascinating.
Yeah. I prefer to have a friend there.
Conclusion and then build their own situation.
That is awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
The next one I have for you, Tyler, is what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
So generally, I work directly with schools, and specifically I work with their teachers and students. And the most valuable piece of information I've learned is about increasing retention. And you see, I used to work with this incredible teacher named Jordan Munson, who taught me that no matter what a lesson is about, everything can be taught through an immersive experience. You just need to get creative. And it made me think, wow, it's like, it's about if you want an unforgettable experience, just that's well, you just gotta make an unforgettable experience, really, if you don't want people to forget.
Yeah. No, very interesting, and that's I like what you're saying there, because it's if you want to learn something, it's like the way the school systems, and this isn't like every teacher, but I'm just saying, is it's typically like textbook and lecture, but then I feel like it just kind of like bounces off. But if you deliver an experiential learning type of thing, then it will definitely stick with you, and the learning will stay.
Definitely, we all have that best teacher, that one that just sticks out to us, and the reason is probably they give you more of an experience rather than just a lecture.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
my fourth grade teacher just popped in my head as you said that. So 100%, that's definitely the case. So next one I have for you is, what is your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
Overall business advice, I'd say make it a priority to consistently hit key actions every day that bring you closer to your goals. And for example, listening to podcasts, audiobooks, meeting new people. That's what I strive to do every single day. Make it a priority, and it's working out quite nicely. So.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it goes back to your story, right? People, and obviously, audiobooks and podcasts and learning is important in that way, but people, I think, are. I just saw Gary Vaynerchuk, actually, if you're familiar with him, just put out a video on this like yesterday. It's like, people are the ROI of life. That's what the video was called, and that's kind of how I live my life as well. So.
Nice.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
My younger self. So this is broken down. So I would say, because kids are simple, and I was a simple kid. Well, most kids, I'd say, not all of them. I would say what you do and do what you say. And I think this is a simple way to say, be accountable for your actions, because taking ownership of your actions is the foundation to building character. And most kids, they lie to cover up mistakes. And if you are covering up mistakes, then you can never really learn from them. So I would tell myself, say what you do and do what you say every day. If I can have it. Yeah. Essentially, probably what. Yeah. I mean, just think of the character building from that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine like a week or two ago, and they were saying how one of their people, like one of their new hires, wasn't showing up for meetings all the time, and it hit me. I'm like, it's such a simple thing to just like show up for a meeting, but yet there's still like adults and people just in general out there that'll be like, hey, I'll be there at 10 o'clock, and then they don't show up. And it's like, dude, this is like the most basic of things. So like, if you can't do that, then like, I'm not sure you're going to do so well. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just think like you're saying, do what you say and say what you're going to do, I think is what you said. And it's just like these little things, they really do add up, and they build your reputation, and they're actually very easy to do, but for some reason, a lot of people have a tough time doing it. So
I think people miss the fact that it's directly related to also respect when you're dealing with time. And I think people don't really put that into the equation sometimes.
Agreed. Yeah.
Or maybe they do. Maybe they do, and they just really don't respect the situation they're going to.
I hope it's the first one.
Yeah.
So kind of going down a little bit of a different path. In your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
The key to happiness. The key to happiness is fake it till you make it.
Okay, so just like smile all the time, and eventually the smile will stick?
No, I'm just joking. No. But for me, that moment right there that we just had right there, I think is the key. I think it's joking and having fun with friends. I really think that's the key, making those moments. I think that's the key, learning how to create those.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
Oh, yeah. There's so many amazing books. But there's one that I think about consistently and I use probably every day. And it's the 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. And I am continuously thinking of ways to either automate something or delegate something to, those time-stealing processes to get rid of them. So I just have more time to do what I really want. And that's something that I'm like, oh yeah, that book again. So yeah. that one, I mean, there's so many good ones, but that one's a staple in my life. So
I agree, dude. Yeah. That book changed my life. That book actually is what inspired me to drop out of school and start my own company. That is literally like the first book that just put me in a direction of realizing I can do all this stuff and I can figure this out on my own. I don't need a degree. That's just for me. And then started me in reading other books like Think and Grow Rich and all these other personal development and business books. So that is actually, I think, my top book.
That's fantastic. It's something that I'm continuously doing and just opens up more time if you can just be like, oh, I don't need to deal with that. Yeah, somebody else knows. Wait, I don't have to work out a website. Somebody else is way better at this and can make it look better. Yeah. There's little things like.
Yeah, no, totally. It shows you all the different websites and all the different ways. It's it is. I was actually talking to somebody the other day. Again, this keeps coming up. With about that book, and I'm like, do you think that it is still usable and relevant today? And I know that it is, but I just mean as technology is changing, is it still relevant enough to have a full read? And I think it will be for a while.
Yeah, definitely still has, because a lot of it is their information-based processes. Yeah. So yeah, they're all using the internet, and that's not going away anytime soon.
Oh, no, that's not going away. I just mean with a lot of the tools that he talks about in the book, I think that some of those have been updated, like the software tools and stuff.
Oh, definitely.
But,
yeah.
So yeah, the next one I have for you is, what is your favorite quote and why?
What is my favorite quote and why? So it's a Jim Rohn quote, and as a quote, the quote is, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." And why this resonates with me is because I want to spend the most time with the people I can connect with and grow with, and so we can bring the best out of each other. And that's just why and it constantly makes me think about who I'm with and who I'm spending the most time with.
Yeah, I love that quote as well, and I think it's very true. So thank you so much for coming on, man. The last question I have for you before we let you go is, where's the best place for people to find and/or connect with you online?
The best place to find me is www.tylerbayley.com with a TYLERBAYLEY, or just a lot of people send me a quick message on LinkedIn. It seems to be quite popular.
Perfect, man. We'll talk again soon. Thanks again for jumping on.
Hey, Tyler. A lot of fun.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.